keep track of the chat box? If there are questions,
yeah, I will.
We can take questions.
I'm just, yes, perfect. Sure. I'm taking.
Excellent. So we said, look, gratitude, we broke it down into 8 best practices. And we broke it into 4 and 4. The first is great leaders in expressing gratitude had to see what was going on. Seeing and then expressing. So on the seeing part, soliciting and acting on input. And we won't go into all of them. We'll look at a couple. Soliciting and acting on input. Assuming positive intent. Walking in their shoes. And fourthly, look for small wins, which we have already talked about. Now, in the expressing side, it's give gratitude now, give it often, don't be afraid. Tailor it to the individual.
Yeah.
Know your team, reinforce core values, and then make it peer-to-peer. You know, it doesn't have to be top-down. It can be peer-to-peer. So let's take a look at looking for small wins. Now, I don't know if you've ever been bowling before. Have you ever gone bowling, Alper?
Bowling? Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, there was actually a bowling course at my university.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know that there's a course.
Right. There was a professor of bowling, which was hilarious. You had to have so many physical education credits to graduate. And so I needed a half a credit of physical education. So I took a bowling class. So, you know, we go to the lanes and you're just firing balls down. You're not going to. The professor, if you can call him that, right, said, look, don't aim for the pins. Aim for the little markers. You know, on the lane, there's those little arrows.
Yeah.
He said, shoot for the arrows. If you hit the arrows, you'll hit the pin. So look for the short, arrows. Yeah. And once you start looking for the little goals, the big goals become easier. So an example, and I know, Alper, you were a big football fan.
Yeah.
Fenerbahce, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I understand there are other football clubs in Istanbul. I don't know.
There's no others.
Beşiktaş. Yeah, I've heard of them.
No.
It's really, Fenerbahce. So
just kidding. You're great.
In Toronto, they have a football club called Toronto FC. And Bill Manning is the president there. So he took over Toronto FC. They had never won the cup. They had never won the knockout tournaments. They had rabid fans. They just had never won anything. And so he comes in to establish a new culture. He says, you know what? I'm going to interview everybody and ask them, what do you do? And the guy said, well, I trim the grass on the pitch so the players can practice. I cook the food for the players so they can have a good lunch. I wash the jerseys and so on. He pulled them all together and he said, you know, every one of you gave me a different answer. He said, there really is only one answer to that question. And it is, everything I do helps us to win the championship. Change your mindset. And he did a lot of little things that were fascinating. You're going to love this, Alper.
What is that? We need nowadays.
He built trophy cases, right? He built trophy cases for the trophies they had not won. So there was a trophy case and it was empty. And he said, I wanted everybody to know every time they came to work, we need to do everything we can to put a trophy in that case.
Okay.
So, you know, there was a trophy for the supporter shield. There was a trophy for the championship. There was a trophy for the knockout tournaments. First year, they made the knockout tournament. They put a trophy in the case. Second year, they made it all the way to the finals. So they won the division trophy. They lost. Third year, they made it to the finals and they won the cup. Championship cup, Major League Soccer, they put it in. Here's what's so great is they said, you know what? We put a little plaque at the bottom. It said, 2017. And the janitor put it in the middle at the bottom. And Bill says, no, put it to the left because we're going to win more trophies, right? So these little things that make such a big difference. Focus on the little wins and it will get you to the big wins. So let's talk about.
Chester. Hi, Chester. We have a question from Celine.
Okay,
Would
Celine.
like to know, can you describe more energy of the 3 E's?
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you for your good question. So in fleshing out energy, energy is really around not just what I do and how I do it, it's why I do it. Connect me to the why, right? So for example, let's use the restaurant example. Texas Rhoda says, look, I'm going to create great jobs. I'm going to serve great food at a very reasonable price because I want folks that have just, good paying jobs. I want them to be able to go to a good restaurant, have fun at a good price. Now, he also says, I want to make sure I give back to the community. So every restaurant he has a charity. They sponsor a local football team. They give to the food bank. They collect coats in the winter for homeless people. So it's not just a restaurant. It's a place where people gather to create great memories and where we serve our community. It's not just about serving food. It's about serving the community. That's energy. That's energy. Remember the definition of a great culture. I believe what I do matters and I make a difference. Everybody makes a difference. So with the football team, I'm not just cooking food, I'm cooking nutritious food. So our players will be strong in the 90th minute, right? I'm not just trimming the grass, I'm making the pitch safe so that our players won't get injured. So it's that nobility. And that drives energy. Now, the number one driver of energy is I'm recognized for my achievements. When I do that, somebody says, hey, Alper, great job. I love what you, and very specific about it, to tie your behaviors to the goals and to the energy. Is that helpful? Does that make sense? Tie it to the why, not just the what and how.
Yeah, by the way, Selim says Beşiktaş is good. Yes, Beşiktaş, he wrote.
Selim, we would say, Forza Beşiktaş, right? Forza Beşiktaş.
He says, good. Thank you. The explanation was good. Thank you. Thank you, Selim, for asking questions. But by the way, I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you because you're going so good. I don't want to interrupt, but if there's any question, you can write so I can ask Chester. Okay?
Perfect.
Sorry.
Yes, sorry, let's make it as interactive as we can. So the other thing that we talk about is to praise effort and reward results.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Often leaders will say, well, that's too much recognition. People can
mostly say, I'm sorry, last 4 years, as you know, I'm the trainer of the What Motivates Me and giving training. I have a session the last half hours for the recognition. Right. When I ask people, especially the leaders, why don't you do it? And people mostly say they don't need it. They know.
They don't need it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
They get paid.
Right? Yeah, they're taking. Yeah. If you talk some things about that too, it's gonna be great for us.
Absolutely. It's so funny. I put it in context. Say, look, you really think that people don't need recognition, or that people get too much? I love that. Oh, they get too much. We're paying them well. There's free coffee. What more could you want, right? I say, when was the last time you went home after work and said, I couldn't get anything done? I got too much praise and recognition. It was balloons, it was cakes. When we look at our global engagement surveys, and again, now over 1 million, recognition, I get recognized at least once every 7 days for something I did, is always in one of the lowest quartiles. It's one of the biggest deficits in engagement surveys. And and I'm with you, Alper. I'm fascinated that people say they don't need it, they get paid. it's a basic human need to feel valued and appreciated.
Sure.
Think about your kids, think about your kids.
Yeah.
How much positive reinforcement do your kids need, right? Do you think that you could literally say, I'm never going to tell my daughter I love her because I feed her. She gets fed.
Yeah.
That's how she gets paid, right? She'll be fine.
Yeah, that's true. She'll be fine. She knows me.
Exactly. She knows
I'm her fine.
So that's the whole point is, by the way, a little bit of recognition. And other leaders will say, and I know you've heard this as well, I don't have time.
Oh, yeah. People don't
they're
so busy.
Right. We're doing hard things. So the idea here is when we looked at the best leaders, let's say you're working a 50-hour week. They took about an hour a week. How long does it take you for you to say, that was a great job. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you staying late. You came in early, you finished the project. It takes no time
Less
at
than
all.
a minute.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
It doesn't take time and people can't get too much. So praise effort because you want people to try again so that when it comes time to reward results, that's how you build momentum. Now, back to Fenerbahce. Okay. So if your business is a football match and you go to the match, when do you start cheering for your team?
Before the match starts.
Yes.
2 hours ago.
Yeah. On the way to the match, you are cheering.
Yeah.
Through the match.
For sure. Through the match, at the end of the match. Yeah.
You cheer possession. You cheer a good shot on goal. You cheer good defense. You cheer a good save. You don't say, by the way, I'll cheer for you when I know what the final score is. And if you win, I will cheer for you. You expect me to cheer for you along the way? Forget it. Not going to happen. It doesn't make any sense. If you are a football fan, you get it. You cheer on the way, you cheer during, and you cheer after. Why? Because you want your players to have energy. You want them to know. Well, think about as a manager, you are a fan. Cheer for your people. Cheer for them every step of the way. And then when it comes time to reward them, make sure you reward them in a way that's meaningful. Now,
that's the point, in fact. Most people buy the same things and do the same things for all their employees. So what's your advice about that? Sorry,
You're exactly right. Say, look, I give everybody a scratch-off card. I give everybody coffee. I give everybody a bottle of wine, right? Well, some people like coffee, some people don't. Some people, Turkish people love coffee. I get that. Some people like wine, some people don't. Know your players. And I think, the motivators assessment is a great way to know your players. Know what they value, right?
Yeah.
Know, for example, if family is important to them, give them time off. If recognition is important, give them the spotlight.
Spotlight.
If service is part of, give them time off to work with a charity. Those kinds of things. I will tell you a cute story. A friend of mine lived in Detroit, Michigan, always wanted to work in New York City. So in his company, opening comes up in New York. He interviews, he gets the job. He's excited. Comes home to Detroit, tells his wife, we're going to move to New York. It's going to be amazing. They're all excited. The next day, a package shows up from his new boss. And to celebrate, right? Open it up.
Okay.
And it's a big bottle of champagne, right? How great is that?
Wow.
Except he is an alcoholic and he was trying to stop drinking. Now, right. So nice idea, right?
Yeah, but the
poor execution. Right.
Yes.
So, it would have been much better if he had sent, food.
Not food, yeah. Anything else than alcohol, yeah, right.
Anything but that would have been okay. And, he just didn't know. And they became good friends and they laugh about it. The neighbors got the champagne, right? He gave it to his
neighbors.
Neighbors loved it. Neighbors thought that was
of course. By the way, Chester,
Yes.
Sorry. After this, there's a question. I'm going to read it. Okay. Sorry. You finished and now let me read it. Okay. So,
Perfect.
Okay. From Fatih, I have a question, remark regarding recognition. This is tough in all the coaching and leadership training, and a lot of managers try to pick up this habit. Many of which fail to be sincere. That's the point. I know it. The lose of sincerity makes the team to feel the artificialness. Can you suggest ways to be sincere to the leaders here?
Yes.
Since, as we know, there are 4 steps, but I'm sorry.
You go ahead, Alper. You know it well.
No. It's your set. No, it's your time.
Well, but I always say, look, be very specific in your praise. And if you're specific, it helps be sincere, right? Give the details. I like to say general praise has no impact. If you just come in and say, hey, great job, that's very insincere. If I say, by the way, did everybody notice how Alper handled that customer? Really talk them through it, whatever the situation might be, as specific as you can be, because rewarded behavior gets repeated, right? So you want to make sure that the behavior is very specific, that you've tied it to your corporate, to your goals, right? To your values.
Yeah.
Yeah, he demonstrated integrity. He demonstrated, innovation, whatever it might be. The more specific you can be, the more sincere it will come across. Now, leaders are afraid for that very reason. I'm not going to do it well. It's okay. You are going to make mistakes. It's a given. The more you do it, the better you'll get. The more you do it, the better you'll get. So it comes with practice. No one is really good right away. Everybody needs practice. Everybody needs practice. The key is the practice. And I hope that was helpful. Now, so I want to leave a lot of time for questions here. So as we start to wrap up, I just want to review that, it's about seeing and it's about expressing. The seeing part, solicit and act on input, assume positive intent, walk in their shoes, look for small wins. In the expression, give it now, give it often, don't be afraid. I will send you these slides. Tailor it to the individual, know your team, reinforce core values, and make it peer-to-peer. Now, as we start to close, one of the things that I loved about writing this book and doing the research for the book was every leader that we interviewed not only led their organizations with gratitude, they all took it home. They all practiced it in their personal lives. For example, and so at the end of the book, we have 13 ideas on how to take it home. And I'll share a couple with you that I like. One is, a friend of mine said, we wanted to make dinners more engaging. So he said, we would bring the kids for dinner and, mom and dad, 2 kids. And they'd say, how was school? Fine. What did you learn?
Short answers.
Nothing. Yeah, right? We've all had this, right? So he changed it. He said, we now are going to ask 3 questions at dinner. First question, tell me what is the best part of your day? And they have a conversation. 2, tell me about someone you're grateful for that's not at the table. And 3, tell me about who you're grateful for who is at the table, who hasn't been thanked yet. So everybody gets to talk about the best part of their day, somebody that they were grateful for, and give a compliment to someone at the table. He said, you know what? In a very short period of time, dinners became really engaging and really fun. So bring gratitude home. Isn't that a great best practice?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, really good. Because most of the people, in fact, people are a little afraid to say thank you, because especially if he was a leader or she was a leader. There's a question, by the way. Let me take it. Okay. Demet is asking, how can we show gratitude to ourselves for what we have without reminding ourselves Do you have some advice to show gratitude to natural like breathing?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
And it's an
And there are two more questions.
excellent
Yeah.
question. Good. Excellent question. A gratitude journal. It's really interesting. I'll give you two, I call them triggers. A lot of research has been done that if you end your day by write it down 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for, like breathing, like it's a sunny day. I connected with an old friend. Those things, research shows that it calms your mind, it lowers your blood pressure, and you sleep better. So that's a great way to show recognition for yourself, right? To build yourself up. Focus on the things that you have and not the things you do not have. Second best practice, and I love this, my friend Dave Kirpin in New York City. He says, when I'm having a tough day, I take out my smartphone, I set the timer for 2 minutes, and I go to the notes section, and I start to type in all the names of the people I love. And he said, after 2 minutes, I feel great. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah,
So,
it's really wonderful.
Gratitude journal, take 2 minutes, type in the names of the people you love. What's the next question? This is fun.
Thank you, Chester. Yeah, this is Erdem. During the tough times, leaders should have a high energy to lead and motivate people. What do you suggest to leaders increase their own energy level? I think this kind of
similar.
Yeah.
Let me talk about that specifically for leaders. 2 words. I don't know what they are in Turkish. It's to be intentional and to be disciplined. So set a goal at the top of the day that you're going to have 5 positive interactions with your people and keep track. You know, maybe it's a handwritten note, maybe it's a text, maybe it's a team Zoom where you call out someone. Set very specific goals so you're intentional 5 times and be disciplined. Do it every day. I'm a big fan of handwritten notes. You know,
I know
a simple little card. You know, I got one in the mail the other day. Right? There we go.
Let me see.
From a friend. Just a quick note. I love that. You know, pop it in the mail. I try to write at least 5 notes a week. So 1 a day. Some days I write 5 all in one day. It's fine. Text people. Just say, hey, I'm thinking about you. In fact, I want to do something fun with our people on the phone right now. I want you to pick up your phone and I want you to text someone that you're thinking about, somebody that you care about. Just say, hey, I'm thinking about you. I love you. Thank you for being in my life. I hope you're safe. I hope you're healthy. Alper. Now,
I'm writing.
Yeah, as you're doing that, I'll tell you a cute story. I did this at a conference. At the end of the conference, a woman came up to me and said, thank you for having me do that. I texted my daughter at university and she texted me back and she said, I love you too, Mom. And I said, well, that's very nice. She said, you don't understand. My daughter never says I love you. This means the world to me. And I thought, isn't that a wonderful moment from a simple text?
Yeah, sure.
Takes you 30 seconds. Another guy comes up to me. Now, Alper, you'll love this. The conference was in Las Vegas. I know your favorite city.
My favorite city in the world.
So he says, hey, I did what you said. I texted. I said, who did you text? He said, I texted my wife. I said, what did she say? She said, you're in Las Vegas. What have you done? Why are you sending?
Oops.
Oops. Yeah. So the more you do it, the better you'll get.
Yeah, but don't say the word you are.
Yeah. Now, listen, other things you can take home, and I think now is a perfect opportunity. Teach your kids to serve. Get out and serve someone.
Yeah, serve someone.
So take food to an elderly couple that's maybe shut in, or be of service. And we talked about it earlier. Great leaders are forged in hard times. So embrace hard times. Say, don't say, why me? Say, what can I learn? Gary Ridge, let's not waste a good crisis. Let's take this time. Let's invest in ourselves. Let's become better leaders. Let's become more kind, more grateful, more service oriented. And I think that these are the times where we need to do that more than ever, is to be grateful, to be kind, and to take it home.
Great. Chester, there are 2 more questions, and I know your time is, we have been talking about 52 minutes. It's been so, if you want to say something, or do you want me to finish the question?
Yes, let's take more questions.
Okay, so there is coming from Selim Yener. I'm leading cultural and digital transformation in our company, which is combination of Japanese and Turkish cultures. What are key points to really change management members who look change, but in fact stays unchanged? Yeah, that's right. That's as usual. And there's one more thing. I'm sorry, Chester. Why I'm asking is that as HR people, we are following most of your advices, but as there are other leaders, we should all be aligned.
Right. Wow. And that comes down to communication, right? Alignment comes with communication. And by the way, I understand when you've got 2 very different cultures, Turkish and Japanese, patience, you need patience. Keep communicating, keep asking questions. Now, I'm going to share with you something my father taught me when I was very young. And we're worried, particularly when we have different cultures, about offending people. You have to develop a culture where, my father would say, you have to choose to be offended. You have to choose to be offended. So choose not to be offended. And I'll give you a perfect example. In our church, right, my father worked with the young people and as a volunteer. And my father was, everybody loved my dad, very likable, great storyteller. Well, this old woman in our church, those miserable people, everybody's got one, right? She comes up to my dad one day and says, Mr. Elton, you think all the young people love you. Well, I'm here to tell you they don't. And he says, well, thank you. And she says, it wasn't a compliment. And he said, too late.
I got it.
I chose not to be offended.
Yeah.
When people point things out, just say, thank you. Thank you for giving me that feedback. I really appreciate that. Choose not to be offended. It is difficult, and yet I will tell you, it diffuses all the negative energy.
That's
it
right.
really does. Because you know what? That's their opinion, and that's okay. And that's okay. Yeah, so culturally, keep communicating. Choose not to be offended, and be patient.
Okay. One more question. Hello, I'm Hussein. What if you really believe the value of recognition, but your manager does not sincerely, and even if you believe that you do not share the same values with your manager, what should you do as the employee?
That's a tough one. If you don't trust your manager, if you don't have the same values, if they're asking you to do things that you don't think are right, you need to really rethink that position. Sometimes we say, oh, well, we can, and there are some things you can do. You can recognize them. You can continue to talk to them about what makes you uncomfortable or what you're comfortable with. There are times, though, and I know it's hard, where sometimes you need to change jobs. If you're in a culture where they're asking you to do things that make you uncomfortable, sometimes you just need to change jobs.
Okay. By the way, thank you again. Selim likes the answer. Okay, he was trying to do so, although it's not easy. Yes, you're right, Selim. It's not easy.
It is not.
And there's one more question. This is Eronat. Mehmet Selam. Hi, Mehmet, my friend. We expect a radical change in corporate cultures after the crisis. What do Chester think should be the first in the agenda of leaders after the crisis? Good questions. Yeah.
Excellent question. What I really hope comes out of this after the virus is that you really do focus on the value of people. You know, one of the wonderful things that this virus has done is it's brought everybody together. You know, we're all in this together. The virus is global, right? And so we've all got to pitch in. And what I hope is the first priority after the virus is get back to taking care of our people again and up collaboration. You know, let's as we've been working together now to keep each other safe, let's continue to do that. Let's make that a core value. You know, I really do hope that after the virus that we are a little more kind to each other.
Yeah.
And we're a little more sensitive to differences, and that we are grateful for what we have. I mean, you know, if we get through this, and we will, right? Think of all the good things that can come about from this. And I really do implore everybody that's on the line with us, be the good news. There's lots of bad news. You want bad news? No problem. You can find it, right? Open your phone. Be the good news.
Go to Twitter.
Be the person that finds that good news. Be the helper. Be the good news. Well, listen, I know our time is up. I just want to close by saying, look, follow me on LinkedIn. We're constantly putting good stuff up. We've got a new LinkedIn live show that we do every Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have amazing guests. There's a wonderful website, leadingwithgratitudebook.com. leadingwithgratitudebook.com. And there's lots of free downloads there, fun videos, good information. You can download the first chapter. You can download the foreword, lots of good tools. We also have our training company, which is thecultureworks.com. Good articles there. More than anything, go to HR Thinks.
Thank you, Chester.
Yeah, you know, engage with Alper. He is a certified coach for a lot of the work we do. The Motivators Assessment is a fabulous tool for you to develop your own leadership style. I would encourage you, use Alper as a wonderful resource. I've known him for years. He's amazing. He's not only a great coach, a great teacher, he is a very dear friend of mine. And I count as one of the things I am grateful for is my friendship with Alper Topper.
Oh, Chester, you're my hero. You know it. I'm grateful for you to letting me share everything with everyone, what I have inside of me. But thank you very much, Chester. It's really great. I have to tell the people who's listening us, thank you for joining us. And the Leading with Gratitude books will be in Turkish as soon as we can do it. And then there is a training. I am the only certified trainer for the Leading with Gratitude. In Turkish, the training will be in Turkish too. And by the way, thank you for Christy. Yes, thank you her, because she helped us to this webinar. And then there are a lot of thank yous on the link. Thank you, Esra, join us, Christy, thanks, welcome, Başak, the others. Thank you very much. So I will send an email to all the participants that when Chester share his presentation with us, and there will be a link on it, which Chester mentioned before. So have a great evening, and you, Chester, have a great day.
Thank you.
Love
everybody.
Man.
I love you too. Be safe. Teşekkürler.
Oh, thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.